Good evening and welcome to the Carver Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. Our order of business, to start off, we have, first of all, the reorganization of the board. So at this time, I turn control of the board over to...
Oh, no. I have to do this again?
Yeah, you
Yes.
get it.
Oh,
Yes.
what do I do?
You have to.
You ask for
You
nominations.
ask for nominations for chair.
Okay. I need nominations for chairman.
I will nominate Savory Moore to be chair again. You ask for a second.
I asked for a second.
Second.
Do I hear a third?
Are there any, no. Are there any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations?
Hearing none.
Hearing none. Thank you. I
Call
don't
for
run
a
these.
vote.
I don't run these meetings very
It's
often.
okay. Call for a vote.
I'm calling for a vote for
All
chairman.
all those in favor say...
All those in favor
aye.
say aye.
Aye. Opposed?
None.
Hearing none, it's unanimous. Mr. Chairman.
Now you turn that back to me.
Now you turn it
Now
back
I turn
to
it back
him.
to chairman.
All right.
Thank God.
Oh, good God.
Okay.
Vice Chairman.
Well, thank you all. Yes,
why I'm here.
I will accept nominations for vice chair at this point. I would like to nominate Alan Germain as vice chair of conservation.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to have Alan Germain continue in his role as vice chair. All those in favor
Any
say aye.
further nominations?
Oh,
Aye.
Are there any further nominations? Hearing none? All right, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'll abstain.
All right, hearing none, and one abstentions, 401. And we're done with the reorganization
Thank God.
for another year.
We should welcome our...
Yes, I'm going to. I would like to welcome our newest member, David Hall from Lakeview Street. And you were on the Conservation Commission in Wareham?
Correct.
Is that
yeah.
correct? Do you want to just give us a little overview of who you are and what you do? And
Yeah,
Just
well,
20
okay.
minutes, 30 minutes, nothing serious.
I moved here a year and a half ago, and I had moved to Massachusetts about 3.5 years ago from Arizona.
Tissues.
And I retired from the New Jersey Geological Survey. These parts of my resume there.
Oh, okay.
2010. I taught college for a while, and I currently work part-time, actually back in Arizona, doing tour guide stuff
Okay.
of Southwest. Yeah, I work for the university there. Doing
All right, this is more for our vast television
Yeah.
audience than
So,
it is for the...
so there'll be a month in September. Like you said, you're going to be gone. I'll be gone for the month of September.
Okay.
But that's the only thing.
Well, great, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I think you'll find we're a fun group.
Oh, yeah, we're a real hoot.
I think we are.
The first two meetings I came to
That's
were
why
very,
you're still here.
very,
Yes.
very,
Yes, you
I come here for the entertainment.
that was an indoctrination by
How
five.
sad that
Yeah.
is.
All right, moving on. Request for COC, 276 Federal Road. Oh, these three are
Yeah,
continued.
those
I'm
we
sorry, the
continue till
request for
the next one,
COC
yeah.
were
So we
continued.
need to have site visits for those.
Okay. Oh, I know what those are. Okay.
Yeah.
That's these.
Oh, you want to talk about those?
No,
Yeah,
I
but I
can't.
didn't put those on the agenda with the site visit.
Then we can't talk about these.
Well,
Oh, yes, you
did-
can.
Did it just happen?
I'm only giving you those so that you know when they are.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Please.
Yeah.
Request to cut trees, 31 Walker Road.
Yes, 31, here, I went to 31 Walker Road, he had a couple of pine trees in front of the house that were leaning towards the house, so, yeah, he's fine with that, yep.
All right. Status of propane tanks, 44 Lakeview Street. I got a phone call from Roby's, who owns the propane tanks that were used at the structure.
Yeah.
And they either want to take the tanks out or they want to collect rent on them.
Oh.
That's the way it works. I mean, I have. no-
Yeah.
Come get them.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Do you need
Not
them
being
out
held
there?
hostage for propane
Do you
tanks
need
from
them,
Roby's.
do you
No,
need
we
them out
don't.
there?
Nope.
Oh.
Get somebody else to put tanks in there and be happy to do it. I'm not paying Roby's rent.
Okay.
Oh, but do you need propane tanks
For
for?
what?
No.
I don't
Not
know,
right.
maybe you
No.
don't, okay.
No one's in the building. And if
Oh,
it-
right.
the
There's no
time
water
comes
in
that
the
we have
building. There's no
to,
heat.
It's been winterized. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, when the time comes, if we need to heat it,
Oh, okay.
we just start over.
No Roby's adios.
Okay, I didn't want to make that decision on my own. I have no problem with it, so I will call them tomorrow and tell them to go get them.
Okay.
All right? I told her we were having a meeting tonight, so take the tanks.
Go on.
Pine Ridge Way, request for a fire pit.
Okay, I met with Harold Taylor, And they are requesting to put in, I actually not even, he had talked to the fire department. The fire department didn't want them to put in fire pits because of the open flame. So they want to put a chimney
Yeah,
thing?
chimney.
This
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
One of these, on the big beach and on the smaller beach.
So they want to put two of them in.
But they just plop them on the ground.
Yeah, but that's great, but what does the fire department think?
The fire department's fine with these. They didn't want the open
Fire department's okay, I'm okay.
So it's basically so people can go down,
Not a
sit
structure.
at the water and get warm when it's cold.
We have a new thing that burns pellets. You throw 2 inches of pellets in the bottom and
Yeah.
light it, and it does a great job, and it's
Yeah.
all self-contained.
And it's basically right where they sit now anyway. It's where they have their chairs and everything, so.
All right, may I see that,
Yeah,
please?
Why don't you buy one for your house?
I have an open pit.
There you go.
Ah,
So how can you
so
say
fire-
no to
it's a
this?
fire violation.
I don't do outdoor fires, except when the groups.
Pass that down so they can all see.
but that's kind of
Yeah.
not really even open fire. I mean, that's like the closed.
Yeah, it's pretty
beach,
good. Okay.
right?
It's not like a
All
guy
right.
that's building 8-foot diameter,
No,
they're gonna
it
start
just
burning
sits on the
pallets.
ground.
Okay.
On motion?
Yes, I'll entertain a motion, too.
I don't have a problem with this, provided it's the one as shown. I want this
Yeah.
kept in the file.
Yeah,
You want to sign off on this, or? I just want to make sure it's the one in the file, so we don't wind up with, well, you said okay, and now it's a 9-foot
yeah.
diameter
No,
open pit.
that's the one he gave me is the one he said they were gonna use.
So we should
So I'll
sign off
make a
on.
motion that we approve the fire pit for Pine Ridge Way as provided
So it's actually called a chimney or.
in the request. Well, it's an Vonzoy Chimney outdoor fireplace. We'll give a copy of this to Ashley. Yeah, why don't we sign this?
Yeah.
So that's
we'll
my
do that.
motion.
So there's been a motion, do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to allow the fire chimney as shown on the document supplied for Pine Ridge Way. I would also ask that you, when you tell them it's okay, to make sure that when they empty the ashes, that they don't dump them within 100 feet.
Okay,
And in the order of conditions, if you're gonna send any oversized letters, make sure that they get the okay from the fire department. Just put that in there.
Yeah.
okay.
It needs fire department sign off or approval or
Yeah.
whatever, so that we're not
Yeah.
on the hook for
But I think, like I
violating.
say, the reason they chose that was because he had talked to the fire
That's
department
wonderful,
about
but we
it.
need
Yeah.
the fire department to get on board, so.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sign the back of this.
Oh, and he just, just real quick, he just wanted me to know, we had talked to him before about that little pond that's down in front of Pine Ridge. It's used for their water.
Oh,
supply.
yes.
Yeah, and they just needed to clear out some of the, it's filling in.
That's where they did a little bit of replication
Yeah.
at one point?
Yeah. So, they're just gonna be doing that.
Okay.
Nice. Minutes at the end, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, we'll do minutes at the end.
This is not on the agenda.
Okay.
I just gave you those, so like I say, if you wanna see if you wanna go, you don't even have to talk about, I mean, you can just look at them and see if you can make the site. I did,
When did you get this?
I got those come from DEP. They're sent,
When?
a couple days ago. So it's basically the same
May
type.
2nd, so it's within 48 hours. You can go ahead and speak on
Yeah.
unanticipated.
So it's the same type of site visit we had today.
Okay, so you can make mention of the dates and
Okay.
the site visits, because it's 48 hours.
And the only thing that might change is the first one on Federal Furnace. They may request,
That's the second one.
Federal Furnace is the second one?
Yeah, that's one you gave us.
Oh, okay. They may request it to be continued because they're not prepared to have a site visit, but I'm not sure what DEP's gonna say. Anyway, it's up to DEP.
All right, so these are site visits for next Wednesday,
Yeah.
the
and those-
11th,
Those are from the RDA appeals.
from the, okay.
Yeah.
So we have Edgewood Bogs at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Federal
Federal
Furnace.
Furnace at 11:30 tentative.
And I assume that's 1 PM, not
Yeah,
AM?
not 1 AM
Yeah.
for
I saw that
Slocum
too.
Gibbs.
Yep. And that's the one that we looked, and Sarah had sent an email and said, you know, that the best place to meet for that was at the Dunkin' Donuts on Tremont Street there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the one that
It's the
that
same one that we
Gary
looked
was
at,
in
yeah.
for
Yeah.
at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does he want us to do with the
Well,
enforcement? I mean, does he still, he said he wants that.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
I like that. This is what I heard. How true is it? Reach out to Sarah and
Okay.
find out.
Okay.
it will have to go on the next agenda.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Can I have that approval back? Look at
But I
something.
think they were scheduled to come in the next meeting. What's this? This is May 4th. I'm sorry, they're scheduled, we put them on for the June 1st, remember to come back
Right.
with the restoration plan, okay. But in the meantime, we'll see her next week, so we can talk to her about that.
Well, if we're putting it off to June 1st, then why are we going on a site visit?
That's
on-
totally different, that's
This is
DEP
different.
organized, that, the
course
other
it is.
site visit is, yeah.
Yeah, this is on the DEP letterhead.
This has got to stop, is what this has got to do. Go ahead.
All right, so we'll do the minutes after. Our first order of business of new hearings, 92B South Main Street, NOI DEP SE 126 do we have a number?
Oh, you do?
Okay,
I didn't have it when the agenda went out, 643.
643. Okay, very good.
Hang-
Notice is hereby given in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, that a public hearing will be held at 7:00 PM on Wednesday, May 4th, 2022, in Meeting Room 1 at the Carver Town Hall to hear the notice of intent submitted on behalf of Richard Antoniati for the raising of 4 existing structures and construction of new single-family home, including associated drinking water well and septic system, and the replacement of a retaining wall on the bank of Sampson's Pond. A portion of the proposed work will occur within the 65 and 100-foot buffer zone to wetland resource area inland bank associated with Sampson's Pond. A variance from the Carver Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Section 9.2.1.3/3, is required for the activities within the 65-foot buffer protected under the bylaw. The project is located at 92B South Main Street, Carver, Massachusetts, map 1, lot 20. All interested parties are invited to attend. Come on up. If you would just give an overview of what it is you're going to do. We have a new member here.
Or if you'd also identify yourself, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
And
I am Richard Antoniati.
And would you sign in, please, Mr. Antonio? Yeah, we saw this before. He's
Yeah.
pulling the house up off the pond.
Yeah. And one of the issues with zoning, the zoning is basically said, you need to come to Concom before you go back to zoning.
So zoning won't entertain this until you get an approval or denial from us?
Yes.
Okay.
all right, so you can just describe briefly what you'd like to do here, please.
I'm removing the existing cesspool, which is within the 65 feet zone to the back corner of the lot. And basically, I'm moving the existing cottage back approximately 30 feet to get it out of the 65-foot zone somewhat. What else would you like? And I'm rebuilding the wall that's deteriorating in the front of the property.
Okay. Has anyone, other than, I went out this morning and saw it. Does anyone else?
I went out,
I know you
Yeah.
were out there. Has anyone
Yeah.
else been out there, seen it?
I have not seen.
Um,
years ago.
So you're putting a new well where the septic is? Is that what I'm looking at? Looks like the potable well is going pretty much where the existing cesspool is, after you close it up?
I do not know why the engineer put it there. I could check with the engineer.
Where's the new, wait a minute,
That
where's,
would concern me. The cesspool,
I think-
approximate location, and look where the
Yeah.
new well is located.
So I think that cesspool is incorrect, that location. The cesspool, I believe, is closer to the existing cottage.
Okay. And I assume that the well is where it is because we're trying to get setback off the new septic system.
Yep.
yeah,
Are we achieving that dimension?
what is, I think it's 100, is it 100 from, it's 100.
I thought it was 150. Well, you
Well,
got
that may,
100.
that's zoning.
Yeah, you don't have it.
And that's Board of Health too, and you got, you have Board of Health approval,
Yes, it's been approved for a 4-bedroom
yeah,
septic system.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so,
Alright.
so he would also consider that.
So
He would
BOH
consider
is
the well,
okay with that.
location of the well.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go right ahead.
This is the second time we've seen this, and we all seem to have liked the fact that it was coming up off the pond. We also appreciate the fact that you have brought it pretty much as far forward as you can on that lot and still maintain some setbacks. What are you asking variance to do for you? Are you asking for front setback on variance, or what are you looking to have the ZBA do for you?
I think it was the in-law apartment was the issue.
Okay. So your setbacks were fine as far as ZBA, you weren't looking for a variance on setbacks and so forth? You brought the house where it can go?
I think because I'm pre-existing, I was allowed to do what I'm trying to do.
Personally, I don't have a problem with this. It gets it farther up out of the
Yeah.
65. Gives them some backyard. Lets them rebuild an existing retaining wall.
It's presently a
and puts in a
it's already a
usable
concrete
septic
wall.
system, so.
And it is a concrete wall now. It's not
Yeah,
a-
so,
yeah.
and I think it's, as far as I'm concerned, he would have the right to rebuild exactly where it is. Now he's simply asking to move it back and get our approval on it, so I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, this is very similar to Merritt
Yes.
around the corner.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
Almost the same with the cesspool
Yeah.
being removed and the house
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
moved back, so.
Yeah.
And the cesspool comes farther back, way back off the pond. This is perfect.
Yep.
I have no issue with this.
Yeah, the smaller cottage and the shed, the two sheds there are, they've seen somewhat better days, so they're part of the removal process as well. So everything that is going to be built will be new, which is good. And as Mr. Germain said, the cesspool's leaving the house 11 feet away from the water's edge. Is going to be 35 feet now, which is a big change. Does anyone else have any comments on this?
I'd like to know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt anybody else, but I'd like to get clarification, just for our own knowledge, of if in fact, as according to the drawing, is the well really going roughly where the cesspool is? Because that just doesn't seem to, unless you're going to dig a really deep well, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me.
Like I said, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not going to hinge on whether what
Right.
we do here, but I'd like you to furnish that information when you can.
Okay.
If the Board of Health signed off on the new plan, then they would have signed off on the well.
Right.
But I'm wondering if this existing cesspool is maybe not where it says it is here. Because,
Right, well-
I mean, I can't see how somebody wouldn't say, what are you doing?
Right, when I was out there this morning, where you pointed out where you thought it was not where this drawing
Correct.
says. It
Oh.
was
Where was it?
It was pretty much adjacent to the north corner of the
Yeah.
house. It was pretty much.
Way down there?
Yeah,
It was closer to the water.
Then never
closer to the
mind.
water.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it's wrong on the drawing is what
I
I'm
believe
trying to
so,
get
yes.
at. So we should
Right.
make note of that. And if you believe that's where it is, then we
Well, that's what-
can make a change
Yeah.
to.
That's
You can
what
just check with
Mr.
Frank.
Antoniadi
Okay,
said,
okay.
where he said it was, and it looked like that made sense. But I would think that the Board of Health at some point would need a corrected plan to show it.
I'd like to get that
and that
Just
should
in the
become
file.
part of our record as
Yeah.
well. So that might be something you want to look into.
I have no intention of putting a well with a cesspool.
No, I understand.
I'm sure you don't, but I'm going by, and it's not you, I'm going by the next owner who walks in here 12 years from now and says, what the hell is this?
The
You know
water
what I
tastes
mean?
funny.
Right. So, I would just have your engineer look at that again and if need be, resubmit new plans, probably to the health department, and then from there,
Yeah.
just a copy to us, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
And
copy
we'll
to
just
us.
staple it to
Yeah, I
this,
just
so
need
it's
one
not gonna
that-
affect the approval, I'm looking for the next guy and the next board and the next, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
'Cause it's always what happens. We were dealing with stuff today that was a 10-year-old earth removal permit, 10 years ago, which nobody knew anything about what was going on 10 years ago, so.
All right, now, did you want to, you had spoken to me this morning about changing your potential wall from concrete blocks to a poured wall.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to my engineer and my contractor to see which way was the best way to go.
Okay, so I think we should put on this drawing, the one that we sign off on, using prefabricated concrete blocks or a poured reinforced wall.
That's okay with the poured reinforced, provided we give it a dimension. We need to give the entire wall a dimension. How high is it gonna go? We need to put a height limit on the wall.
Well,
So
the-
it's gotta
okay,
match the
it's-
existing wall, or what are you
Yeah, it
looking
is.
to
It's-
do?
Yeah, 'cause it comes
it's
to the top
ground
of the
level.
bank. so it
That's
comes to the
fine.
top of
It
the
comes up
bank
to
now.
ground level.
It just needs, just for everybody, it just needs to have a dimension. We're trying to do everything we can do to stave off what we've been getting lately, which is
I
headaches.
get that. It'll be tough to do it well. I mean, the only solid ground is the ground that's gonna be behind it, so the
Right.
dimension, the height would be zero.
You can
would
have it
go
off the water
down.
line. You're right there.
Yeah, but I mean, depending on how high the water is, water could almost, in a heavy winter and winter storm, the water could come over the top of this.
The
So
bank-
we're getting appeals made because they don't like your shirt. Can we we gotta get the stuff down to where it works.
All right, so we'll put in a
So-
condition that we,
Or we could put a condition in that when, after
How
you
about
get
the
a,
top of the
after you
wall
get
is
a
at the grade of the final?
Right,
That works fine.
or once you get your contractor who's gonna do
That's
the
really
wall.
what you wanted anyway.
We
Yeah.
could get details of the wall once he has a
I don't
contract.
need details of the wall. You talking about using the retaining wall blocks or just concrete blocks?
Retaining wall blocks are like 6 feet long.
The big ones, yeah, okay. The ones like you get up here in North Carolina.
Right.
You got
I'm just
some-
worried about frosty, like if the water comes up in the wintertime.
They won't move.
So,
They will not move.
What's that, reinforced?
Those big retaining
block.
blocks.
I think we
You
should,
backfill them with stone, and they'll stay right where you put them forever.
I think that we should allow for the engineer.
Oh, sure.
To make that
All the-
decision,
all the
because
poured wall.
the wall that was there, and there are still large remnants of it, looks like a poured wall,
Mhm.
and it was undermined from the sand. The water going under it and pulling it out towards
That's
the
the
water.
beauty of a narrow wall versus a 6-foot wall. The blocks are this long, so that they can't undermine. And then they're all filled with stone, so but either, whatever his engineer decides to do,
Yeah.
I have no problem.
Okay.
But the only thing I wanted was a height restriction, so that
Well,
finished
it's-
grade is
it's-
fine.
It's
or
grade level.
You wanna go 6 inches over grade, I don't have any problem with that, I just, because we're trying to dot i's and cross t's now.
All right. So anyway, we know it's grade level, and we'll put in here that there's an alternate version of the wall, depending on what the engineer says, and then we'll sign this one.
Oh, this one, whichever one you want.
Yeah, it's okay, that's fine. Anybody else have any questions,
Yeah,
comments?
Is the square footage of the new house about the same as the old one, or is it gonna be, I can't,
No, it does look bigger.
Yeah, it doesn't.
it looks a little bigger, right?
It is, yeah.
It looks a little bit bigger, but I would say that the square footage of enclosed space that is within the 100 feet probably is very close to the enclosed space that is in the 100 feet currently if you include the 2 sheds
Right.
and the cottage.
You combine all the square footage, right?
Yeah, so, I mean,
Oh,
outside of,
I think within the 65, it's even less.
it could very well be. It's approximately, it looks about the same, but I mean, it's,
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah,
The garage is outside our jurisdiction, right, so it's.
Yeah, you know, most of it's outside the 100 feet, so we don't
Yeah.
count that,
Brooke, 6'3"?
so.
6'3".
All right, so, that being said, I will entertain a motion to.
Anybody in the audience?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Scott Hanula from Quaker Hanula and Sons. We're direct butter to Rick. Curious to me that because there was a house existing on the property already, that it can be moved to be within the 65 foot. One of my family members had a similar situation, and it was required that she build right directly on the same footprint. Believe me, I understand exactly where you guys are at right now, and it's better. I know it's better, you know it's better. Rick knows it's better, it's better. Just curious to me why the decision's made that that can just change, the rules get changed, if you will.
How long ago was that?
20 years now, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
I know in recent times, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I know that when I sat on ZBA, they were approving moving a house, provided a part of the new house touched a part of the old foundation. And it looks like this is exactly what will happen here. There'll be a little piece of the house that will still touch the existing foundation. Personally, and you understand where we're coming from, I think it doesn't make a difference, but I understand from 20 years ago.
Oh, in my opinion, it's a win.
This is a
It's
win.
truly a win.
So, but I think that was the basis that's been recently used. I don't know, the old rules were you could put a house back up if you were completely out of the zoning. If you had a house that was put in back in the horse and carriage days and there
Same
was
thing with a.
no
the
such
house
thing
in
as zoning, and that house burned down to the ground, you could use one piece of the foundation and put that house back exactly where it was on the exact same footprint. If you wanted to remodel that house, you could tear down 3 walls, and as long as you left a wall, you could remodel the house.
Correct.
So it was all these convoluted, kind of feel-good nonsense bylaws that till people finally got some common sense and said, well, wait a minute, this is a little ridiculous. Let's look at the overall impact of the entire site. And does it in fact improve the entire site and improve the surrounding area by allowing some give? And I think that's where a lot of this got more realistic. I won't say lenient, but I think it's where it got a little bit more realistic.
But
And
that was,
again, I am in full agreement that it's much more realistic,
Right.
and it is in fact a win. It's
Well-
it's a win for the pond.
was that a conservation?
Yeah,
The,
they literally, they were granted the approval to pin the foundation with an engineered stamped plan, but they had to build on exactly the same to the inch.
even though it was more within the 65?
It's like,
Because
Oh,
they could,
like
it's like bricks.
like 11
because they
feet.
would not go against the grandfathering, so the only way they could get away with it was to put exactly back what you had.
Huh.
You couldn't go 1 inch bigger.
Right, and
Big.
they went up, but the foundation
That's right.
is
Huh.
exactly the same
Huh,
footprint. if you will.
oh, okay.
Well,
I just have one more question for Rick. It didn't get answered tonight, but how big is this house now? How many square feet is it?
Which one are we talking about, the red one?
No, the new house proposed.
I'm not sure if that has anything to do with this board or if that was a zoning issue.
Just, okay, so, just for common knowledge to me.
30 by 40.
Okay, so
30
you're
by
talking, 4-bedroom house,
No, 2-bedroom.
4-bedroom septic.
What's that?
4-bedroom septic, you said earlier?
Yes, but that includes the in-law apartment also.
Which is at the garage?
What's
The
that?
in-law going over the garage?
Yes.
Okay.
But the house itself is a 2-bedroom, 1,200 square foot house.
Excuse me?
The house itself is 1,200 square feet on 1 floor, 2 floors,
We're talking the main house?
main house,
The main house, I'm going for 3 floors.
3 floors.
The top floor is just gonna be a family room.
okay.
That answer your question, Scott?
It does,
You good?
it does.
I can give you the plans if you want.
I have not seen them, so, and I don't need the plans, it's just a question. The We own the road, the Rick's driveway. He's got legal access, I believe.
Yes.
Over our property. So that's why I'm here for the questions. We're direct abutter. And again, I think it's a win for the pond. I think it's a win for Rick.
I think it helps that whole area down.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
really does.
It's time.
It's an enviable location. It's very nice.
I think I have the ugliest cottage on the pond right now.
I think that when we're looking at situations like this, and I think we can point out the home that Danny Warren has built across the pond.
Yep.
Because that was entirely within the 65 feet, the entire structure. We forced him to maintain the footprint
Sure.
in that situation. So if a structure's fully within the 65 feet, which is probably what the case was 20 years ago,
Of course.
then you have to stay within the footprint that you have. And you can go up. I think Deb Smith on the point, her house is another example of that.
That is.
So, the fact that he's moving this back and maintaining about the same amount of square footage within the 65 feet is a better solution because it moves the house away from the pond. And it gets rid of a cesspool that's
Right.
50 feet from a pond.
That's my new well.
Yeah, your new well,
Well,
right.
that's what it looks like.
So anyway,
Shoot the messenger.
There has been precedent set on, from the standpoint of Mr. Warren's house, that's remained in the 65-foot no-touch zone, so he had to maintain the footprint.
His was a takedown as well. His was a non-conforming lot as well at the same time. Danny's was.
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was.
I'll get started on a conversation about that.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is that my family owns a fair bit of pond frontage. And we don't plan on developing anything, ever, nor sell. The fact of the matter is, if there is precedent set that says you can be within the 100 feet, I would like to enjoy that same precedent. I don't have a structure on the pond, which is what you're talking about. So
Yes.
That's some clarity that I'm glad to have.
Yes, we made sure, because he couldn't move the house back, he had to keep it where it was. We said that the footprint of the building that was there before, the purple building, whatever that footprint is, that's what you can do. And what he did was he did shift it slightly,
Slightly.
but he didn't change the square footage
Height of
of what the foundation would be.
He went up 4 stories and put an illegal porch on it. What else would you like to say?
That-
You can fish off the 2nd floor deck. Cast the rod right into the pond, and it's still sitting there.
I'm not building any decks.
All right, anyway.
Don't cite Danny Warren's property.
I'm citing it as an example of what we
No,
asked him
that's
to
the
do
wrong
with his foundation
That's
for the house.
what not to do.
Understood.
Okay, anyway, nobody else? Okay,
Motion to close the hearing for 92B South Main Street, DEPSC 126643.
You want one of these?
Second?
I have one.
second. All right, it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing on 92B South Main Street. 126643, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that's approved.
Motion to approve the NOI for 92B South Main Street, NOI DEPSC 126643.
Do I have a second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the NOI for 126643. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we need a motion
Any
for the...
opposed?
Oh, any opposed? Hearing none. Approved unanimously.
Motion to approve a variance for 92B South Main Street, DEPSC 126643, as drawn on the plan for...
March 25th. March 25th.
March 25th, 2022, allowing the proposed home to be within the 65, allowing the well within the 65, allowing the existing retaining wall with the exception that it can be either rebuilt using prefabricated concrete blocks or, depending upon the wish of the engineer, a poured concrete wall, not to exceed the height of the finish grade.
Right.
Fair enough?
Not to exceed, okay.
That's fine. Brooke, order of conditions?
Yeah, well, I would add these, obviously.
Yep.
Probably the typical, erosion controls. Let's see, what else would,
Yeah, socks down at the end when you pull the house
the
down.
well and the, the
Right, just
Yeah.
getting a
checking all
revised
that,
drawing
yeah.
that if, in fact, this is incorrect. we
Yeah.
Yeah,
have
just,
a-
that can be in the order.
Yeah. And then you had also mentioned maybe, Rick had mentioned maybe doing some plantings, when he finishes, like some fruit trees and things like that, so.
Okay.
We'd use the typical no fertilizer in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
native
would
grasses.
go along, native grasses, and maybe if you're gonna use any fertilizer, something, extremely benign and organic, but that's up to you.
Well, I mean, we've had other things where we've said that,
Yeah.
so I would
Yeah,
use
we're
that
trying to
language
keep the
again.
harsh fertilizers out of the pond
I agree.
because
Yeah,
they feed the algae and,
yeah. we've had
which I
some-
think you're gonna get no matter what you do to the pond, but that's me.
We were good last year. 3 years ago, not so much.
Well, it comes in cycles.
It does. All right,
Needs a
so,
second.
we need a second on the variance?
Second.
All right, it's been seconded. It's been moved and seconded to grant the variance for DEP SC 126-643 92B South Main Street. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved unanimously. We're going to ask you to
Can
sign
I
this
ask
as
you to
well.
sign this too?
And I don't have you sign.
Here's the order.
You can just sign it up.
Any way you want, any
Sign it
above
above
our,
our-
above our signature
All
panel.
right.
We're doing this now so that, I was looking at plans today, we had 4 sets of plans. They were all a little bit different. They all were dated differently by a couple of weeks.
The Rick's point.
And we weren't sure which one was actually the one that got approved, because nobody signed off on any of the plans.
I
So,
don't know, does planning board, I don't think they.
I don't know what they do. But
All
this
right.
is why we sign
'Cause that
off
was
on
You're all
the
set?
plans now.
Thank you.
You're good?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Send that down, Jim.
Because that was, they were looking at the planning board plans for Rick's Pond, right?
But this is why we all sign off on this plan.
Yeah.
Have a good night, Scott.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Please.
Did he sign those?
It's down there.
Down there?
All right, continued hearings. 20 Shoestring Ben's Pond.
Yeah, the only thing on that was, we got a file number, so you just need to sign the order.
Okay.
Because that was the one that we listened to last week.
Thank you. This goes with it, Brooke?
Yeah, and I'll have you sign that. That was it.
Were we gonna get more information on the herbicides and algicides and so forth? They did talk about
Um,
that, didn't they, providing,
They were gonna provide
yeah.
some information, more information about that.
Do they give it to
Yeah.
you?
Not yet, no.
Well, why don't we sign this tonight and then hold off on giving this to them until you remind them of
And,
this?
okay, yeah.
That
and
fair
I'll-
enough?
Yeah,
Sounds good.
That way they got the sign thing, because we're coming up on camping season,
Right.
so
And just, when,
remind them.
yeah.
and then we're gonna we were gonna have them do some monitoring. We added a
Yes.
couple of conditions for.
Monitoring, I think also the conditions we talked about.
Is that in the order of conditions?
I haven't done the attachment to it yet, but I have my notes from the last
Okay,
one.
why don't we do that as an order and call them before you
Yeah.
release it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Fair enough?
yeah.
That work for you, Mr. Chairman?
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking here at the minutes, reading more carefully to see if that was in the minutes. Mr. Badger said he was concerned.
This one, so,
Right,
yep.
Mr. Badger said he was concerned about approving anything without a monitoring plan. They will already need to test the water for the Board of Health, was the answer to that.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell us they were gonna do it.
No.
I talked about after treatment.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's just remind them of the
Okay.
conversation,
all right. I'll get something in them from them.
and then we will go from there. Here's that. When we get to the minutes, I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 20th, 2022 as written. Oh, excuse me, with the exception of, give me the DEP for Shoestring Road.
641.
I'm gonna put that in the minutes.
641, yeah.
641.
All right.
So as amended.
As amended, okay.
Which is
I'll-
DEP, you can make that note, Shoestring Road, DEPSE 126641. That's the amendment.
Okay. And that was a motion?
There was a motion.
All right, I'll need a second. Second. All right, and, before we vote on this, I just want to say that in the minutes here, it does say the documentation of the herbicides is in the notice of intent.
Yes, they had all the MS.
They did.
MSDS sheets and all this, they did.
Yeah.
She just didn't, they didn't provide it to us that night, though.
Well,
Brooke had it, they
it
didn't
was in the
provide
notice. I
copies
mean,
to
I didn't
everybody.
give everybody copies.
Okay.
Okay.
But it was included with the notice of intent.
So if you're happy with what's in the packet, then I don't have a problem with her releasing
I mean, if you,
it.
do you want to take a look at, take a look at them now?
No, if you've reviewed it, then.
If you're
Yeah.
happy with it,
Yeah.
then I don't have a
Yeah.
problem releasing it. If they haven't provided it, then I'd
Yeah,
hold that
no,
until
no,
we get it.
it was in the notice, and they, it's stuff that it's stuff that they safe to use, that they typically use for, managing vegetation in ponds.
I guess the biggest thing we've already mentioned it, is there is a window of time where while that's being used, people and animals and whatever have to stay out of the water.
Yes.
There's a
Yes,
window
I
of
mentioned
time.
Oh,
that.
yes, yeah.
I think I talked
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, you did.
Mr.
There should
Chairman
be-
suggested after treatment, no one should be in the water for X amount of time.
X time.
Which they.
So we
yeah.
need to put an X time on the order. So what is the?
Did we say anything in the minutes about?
It
about
says
says
X
X,
time.
but
Yeah, she said depending on the type that is used, it's a matter of hours and whatever.
Oh,
My
alright.
recommendation is just do a 24-hour stamp on it. Like just nobody in the water till the next day,
Right.
till the following day of treatment.
Well, I don't know that I go 24 hours. I think if they want to treat the pond at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you can swim in it tomorrow morning. So maybe 12 hours?
It's fine.
I mean, if you think that will disperse it enough, you're better at it than I am.
I just don't know, I don't know what they're using and at what concentration, so.
What's your thoughts, Sue?
My thought is that they're probably not going to jeopardize their guests.
I don't think so either.
So I would defer to them to make the right decision based on what they're going to do. On which.
I still like a minimum. Just
Yeah, but I
for
mean, it's not
giggles.
up to us to guess. Is 24 right, is 12 right, is 4 right? We don't know. So then,
How about
This has been signed off on for the Board of
Yeah.
Health, yes?
Yeah.
yep,
Okay, so as per.
So let the Board of Health to make
As
it.
per the Board of Health recommendation.
Yeah, do that as the wait time after using the herbicide is per the
Okay.
Board of Health regulations. Stick it in their lap.
Yeah. I'll see if there's any with the 24 hours restrictions.
Because it really isn't us anyhow, it's Board of Health.
right.
Yeah, and we're not gonna know, because depending on how they're treating and at what concentration, they're not even probably gonna know until they get down there and
That's
actually
right.
start,
That's
do their
right.
tests. So-
Okay, I'm
Right.
good with that.
And they're probably
Good
going to
idea.
do everything in their power to use a herbicide that dissolves
Fast
very
acting so they
quickly.
can open
'Cause-
the pond back.
Yeah,
Right.
because they don't want to lose the swimming for people who are there, weekly.
Yep.
They're to lose 1 day out of 7 to swim. Okay.
There's a motion,
There's a motion and a second to approve the NOI
as amended.
as amended for 20 Shoestring Road. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
You
I
want
should
abstention?
probably abstain, right, since I
Yes,
wasn't.
yeah, you have to
Okay.
abstain.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
it's
fine.
401.
All right, 401. It's
You
approved.
get to be in the next one.
So
On
what
one
did you
tonight.
what did you decide on the time that they need to?
We
if this
didn't,
was
we
gonna
left
be
it up to the Board of Health.
Leave that up to the Board of Health.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
We have the minutes.
We just did the minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought we just did the
We just
NOI.
did the
Okay,
minutes.
all right,
401.
fine.
Wow.
Motion. What? You got me all,
I must
You-
have.
you
All-
put this thing
all
over
I do
there.
is scare you by moving the chairman's thing, and you all screwed up.
I know.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're out.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.